We are live from Benin City to the world. This is 92.7 KUFM News Dawn.
Good morning. It's 6:30 a.m. Welcome to News Dawn on KU 92.7 FM Benin City. First, the headlines. Federal government slams travel ban on 100 Nigerians over COVID-19. Ogun State Governor suspends Commissioner for Environment over alleged sexual harassment. Lagos government asks civil servants to work from home for another 2 weeks. On business, Nigeria spends 1.99 trillion naira on debt servicing in 9 months. And in sports, Chelsea lose 3-1 at home to Man City. Details of these and more after this break. I am Godslove Orlando. And on the news, the federal government has slammed a 6-month travel ban on 100 passengers who failed to undergo the compulsory COVID-19 test after their return to the country. The Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 announced that the affected persons will not be allowed to leave Nigeria earlier than June 30th, 2021. The restriction took effect from January 1st, 2021 and will end at the end of June. The names of the defaulters were not mentioned, but a list containing their passport numbers was attached to a tweet by the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19. The task force said all the people had been personally contacted. The federal government has released fresh guidelines for the replacement of SIM cards that are damaged, stolen, or lost as part of efforts to tidy up the processes of obtaining fresh cards. The Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Issa Pantami, approved the new guidelines following the recommendation of a ministerial task force on issues relating to the telecom industry and national identity numbers. The guideline states that the subscriber will present a national identification number, NIN. An effective verification of the NIN will be carried out by the Nigeria Communication Commission, NCC, and that the relevant guidelines and regulation of NCC concerning SIM replacement are to be fully adhered to. A statement signed jointly by the spokesman of the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, and the National Identity Management Commission, NIMC, Ikechukwu Adindi and Kayode Adegoke, respectively, noted that the new guidelines are to make processes easier for Nigerians. And elsewhere, the Socio-Economic Right and Accountability Project, SERAP, has asked President Muhammadu Buhari to probe allegation that 3,836,685,213 naira 13 kobo of public funds meant for the Federal Ministry of Health, teaching hospitals, medical centers, and National Food Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, are missing, mismanaged, diverted, or stolen. SERAP, in a statement issued on Sunday by its Deputy Director, Kolawole Oluwadare, called on President Buhari to direct the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, to commence an investigation into the alleged stolen funds. According to the organization, the allegations are documented in Part 1 of the 2018 audited report released last week by the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation. The group also wants the President to promptly investigate the extent and patterns of widespread corruption in the Federal Ministry of Health, teaching hospitals, medical centers, neuropsychiatric hospitals, National Health Insurance Scheme, NHIS, and NAFDAC, indicted in the audited report, and to clean up an apparently entrenched system of corruption in the health sector. Coming up in a moment, Ogun State Governor suspends Commissioner for Environment over alleged sexual harassment. Please stay with us.
At split seconds, there is a lot happening around us, but we can't be everywhere all the time. We've got work, families, and chores to cater to, and most importantly, time to rest. And that's why having reliable partner like KUFM News is important. Sleeping? We don't. We work round the clock, bringing you stories as they break from Nigeria and across the world. We would stop at nothing to keep you informed. Because KUFM News is all about you and stories that affect you. Politics, business, human interests, sports, entertainment, just name it. We've got you covered. KUFM News. Timely, precise, spot on.
Welcome back. It's still News Dawn, and now to the rest of the news. In Ogun State, where the state government says it has suspended the State Commissioner for Environment, Abiodun Abudu Balogun, from office for alleged sexual harassment of an underage girl. The government said the suspension will last pending the conclusion of an independent investigation into the allegation. The commissioner was alleged of sexual harassment by a 16-year-old Barakat Melojokun. A statement issued in Abeokuta on Sunday by the Secretary to the State Government, Tokumbo Talabi, said the suspension of the commissioner is to enable him cooperate fully with the independent investigation being carried out by the police. Meanwhile, the suspended commissioner has been directed to hand over to the Permanent Secretary of the State Ministry of Environment. In a related development, the police have launched an investigation into sexual harassment preferred against the suspended Commissioner for Environment in Ogun State, Abiodun Abudu Balogun. The Ogun State Police Command, through its Public Relations Officer, Abimbola Oyeyemi, while reacting to the viral video, said investigation has commenced in respect of it, disclosing the area commander for Ogbere Police Area Command is conducting the investigation. Abimbola, a deputy superintendent of police, DSP, stressed that the outcome would be made known to the public at the appropriate time when it's concluded. A teenage girl who identified herself as Melojoku Mayowa had in a viral video alleged that Abiodun Abudu Balogun sexually harassed her when she visited him looking for employment. In the viral video, the girl further claimed that the former reps member fondled with her breast. But the suspended commissioner, Abudu Balogun, has denied the allegations, saying it is a pure political blackmail invented by his political opponents. And now we'll go to Lagos State, where the state government has directed all public servants on grade levels 14 and below to continue working from home for another 2 weeks. It explained that the extension order to the workers who were expected to resume on Monday followed the increase in recorded cases of COVID-19 in the state. The governor's chief press secretary, Boyega Akoshile, revealed in a statement on Sunday that the state governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, said the workers will now resume on January 18, 2021. The governor, while noting that essential duty staff and first responders were excluded from the directive, he urged all the public servants to stay safe and keep adhering to all COVID-19 protocols in order to rid the state of the pandemic in the shortest possible time. Still in the southwest in Oyo State now, where an operative of the State Security Network Agency, otherwise known as Amotekun, has shot a policeman, Fatai Yekini, in Oyo town. The Amotekun officer, identified as Ibrahim Ogundele, was said to have opened fire on one of the policemen immediately they arrived at a carnival to dislodge attendees. The incident was said to have happened around 3 p.m. on Saturday around Songo area of Oyo town. It was gathered that the operative was promptly arrested and has been put in police custody, while the injured cop is said to be receiving treatment in hospital. The police public relations officer in the state, Olugbenga Fadeyi, confirmed the incident when contacted. He said police personnel at Ojungodu Division, Oyo, were responding to calls to dislodge disobedient youth staging carnival after several warnings that such should not be staged. An hour away from the southwest to Borno State, where the Nigerian Navy says it is re-equipping its operational headquarters in Baga town of the state, looted by Boko Haram. The Baga naval base was dislodged in December 2018 after a fierce battle with the Boko Haram insurgents. This is according to the Chief of Training and Operations of the Naval Headquarters, Rear Admiral Ibikunle Taiwo Olaiya. Olaiya represented the Chief of Naval Staff at a New Year get-together with troops in a makeshift base in Maiduguri. The naval chief praised the efforts of personnel during the attack, which according to him allowed personnel of sister services and paramilitary then based in Baga to withdraw safely, including many civilians. He also revealed that 2 years after the dislodgement, Some personnel are still missing in action, but assures that the fault lines that led to the overrunning of the base have been studied and corrected to avoid a reoccurrence. Still in Borno State, an aid worker has been abducted along the Maiduguri-Damaturu Road. Family sources confirmed the abduction of one Abubakar Idris, a staff of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR, in Maiduguri. The abduction occurred on Saturday morning around Jakana village, where no fewer than 20 travelers were abducted in a raid. According to sources, the criminals, believed to be insurgents, disguised as soldiers and mounted a checkpoint where they accosted travelers. It was learned that while the travelers were searched and asked to display their identity cards, Idris was immediately ordered down while other passengers were released to proceed. Another Maiduguri-bound traveler, simply identified as Comrade Mazao Bawa, was also reportedly abducted in Saturday's operation. And now to Niger State, where President Muhammadu Buhari on Sunday condemned the killing of 70 people in Zarum Dareye, a border town between Niger Republic and Mali, by militants. The senior special assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, disclosed this in a statement, said the president is calling for united action against terrorism. Shehu said the president is deeply shocked by the large-scale death of innocent people at the hands of the callous militant who have no regard for the sanctity of human life. Coming up in a moment on our business news, Nigeria spends 1.99 trillion naira on debt servicing in 9 months. Details in a moment.
1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 600 billion, and the last kobo. Oh yes, we follow the money. It's all about the business and the business of business, the gains and the losses, the bulls and bears, the rise and falls, the risk and the satisfaction of seeing the last kobo rise to millions. On KUFM's Business News, the simple and complex jargons of business just make sense. Get the trending news on the morning market, forecast, investment opportunities, policy changes, and other breakout information on the ever-busy world of business. KU Business News, Monday to Friday on our news dawn, 6:30 to 7 a.m.
You're welcome back. And now talking business, where data obtained from the Debt Management Office, DMO, have shown that Nigeria spent almost 2 trillion naira on debt servicing payments from January to September 2020. The DMO had disclosed that the nation's total public debt stock rose by 1.21 trillion naira in the third quarter of last year to 32.22 trillion naira amid revenue shortfalls. The debt office said the debt stock is made up of domestic and external debt stocks of the federal government of Nigeria, the 36 states governments, and the Federal Capital Territory. It also said the federal government of Nigeria, state governments, and the FCT all recorded increases in their debt stock due to borrowings to enable them to respond appropriately to the COVID-19 pandemic and to meet revenue shortfalls. DMO's data collated showed that the cost of servicing the nation's debt from January to September 2020 stood at 1.99 trillion naira. A total of 1.53 trillion naira was spent on domestic debt service, while $1.27 billion or 467.44 billion naira was spent on external debt servicing payments. Finally, on business, the National Bureau of Statistics says Nigeria's Commodity Group Imports Index rose by 1.89% in third quarter of 2020. The NBS disclosed this in its quarterly commodity price indices and terms of trade in third quarter of 2020, published on its website. According to the reports, the rise in the commodity importation was driven mainly by an increase in the prices of metals, live animals, and animal products. The Oil Commodity Group Export Price Index in the same quarter decreased by 0.30% due to decreases in the product of the chemical and allied industries, base metals and articles of base metals. Similarly, the all product terms of trade (TOT) index on average decreased by 2.13% as a result of decreases in the prices of product of chemical and allied industries. Base metals and article of base metals, live animals and animal product for the all region group export, NBS said the index also decreased by 0.3%, mainly due to decreases in the prices of exports to Africa, America and Europe. On the contrary, the all region group imports index increased by 1.89% due to increases in import prices of goods exports to Africa, America and Europe and Oceania. However, all region terms of trade on average decreased by 2.13% due to decreases in export prices to Africa, America, Europe, Oceania. Nigeria's major trade partners in third quarter 2020 were India, Spain, the Netherlands, Turkey and China. And that's it on business. And now in sport, where Chelsea lost 3-1 at home to Man City. Details of this in a moment. Chelsea have been beaten 3-1 at Stamford Bridge by Manchester City in the English Premier League on Sunday. Ike Gundogan opened the scoring for City in the 18th minute from a Phil Foden assist. 3 minutes later, Kevin De Bruyne set up Foden to double the lead for the visitors, who went into the game on the back of a 2-0 win against Newcastle. City continued to dominate the game and pressed with counter-attacks whenever Chelsea found their way in their half. One of the counter-attacks paid off when Raheem Sterling making a brilliant run, hitting a shot against the bar and leaving De Bruyne to score from the rebound in the 34th minute. The second half of the game saw the same momentum but ended with a consolation goal for Chelsea and scored by Callum Hudson-Odoi in the 92nd minute. The result lifts City up to 5th in the table, 4 points off Liverpool and Manchester United, and with a game in hand on both their rivals. Chelsea, who would have gone top had they beaten Everton on 12th December, dropped to 8th. Meanwhile, Leicester climbed to 3rd place in the Premier League as goals from James Maddison and Yuri Tillmans sealed a 2-1 win against Newcastle on Sunday. Brendan Rodgers' side struck twice in the second half at St James Park. Andy Carroll reduced the deficit with the first goal for Newcastle in over 10 years, but it was too late to rescue a point. Leicester were good value for their first win in 3 league games as they extended their unbeaten run to 4 matches. The Foxes are 1 point behind leaders Liverpool, who face Southampton on Monday. After missing out on the top 4 finish on the final day of last season, Leicester look well equipped to challenge for Champions League qualification and could even pose a threat to Liverpool's title defence. Having taken maximum points from a visit to Newcastle for the 5th successive season, Leicester have now won 7 of their 9 away league games this term. They were hardly tested by Newcastle, who are without a win in 6 games in all competitions as the pressure mounts on Magpies boss Steve Bruce. And that's it on Sport News. And that's the news, but before we go, let's take a quick recap of the headlines. On the news this morning, we told you that federal government has slammed travel bans on 100 Nigerians over COVID-19. And in Ogun State, where the governor has suspended Commissioner for Environment over alleged sexual harassment. And finally on News Dawn this morning, in Lagos State, where the government has asked civil servants to work from home for another 2 weeks. Please do remember that the continued unity of Nigeria is a collective responsibility. Be sure to play your part. Do not forget you can listen to us anywhere in the world, either by visiting our website at www.kufm.net, or you can download our KU mobile app from the Google Play Store. Remember, we're also live on YouTube at KUFM Nigeria, and you can now listen to us on radiogarden.com. KUFM's News Dawn was produced by Libedum Asagwaram. I am God's Love. Orlando saying thanks for listening and Happy New Year.
Now, back to the hits faster.
We are KU 927.
Yeah, let's go. Daddy. What? Yeah, comment tu t'appelles? J'ai eu des fiers, et lolo magie. Daddy go spend, yeah, swag on a rare. Au school la paix, my low attempted job. Say, what's my name? But daddy, big tunes, got the club banging. Less man, more baddies. What's that? It's a drop top caddy. What's my name? But daddy, big tunes, got the club banging. Less man, more baddies. What's that? It's a drop top caddy. Hey, bub daddy, 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 bub daddy. Yeah, shit you like Okocha. I get skills you go like on cover. Biggie man we be life supporter, but not the type with the type computer. I don't type computer. Neck froze, hammer time. See the watch, you they shine from afar. Central Bank for inside, I got that. A couple toys just land a papa on my back. But daddy know they rush. A slow walk. Oh God, you go fear bug. You don't have respect. The chairman, director. What's my name? But daddy, big tunes, got the club banging. Less man, more baddies. What's that? It's a drop top caddy. What's my name? But daddy, big tunes, got the club banging. Less man, more baddies. What's that? It's a drop top caddy. Hey, bub daddy, 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 bub daddy.
What's my name? Delta Mommy, Rubber Babe, Big Baddie. Check the scoreboard, I win, no tally. All my bad, big tip and batty. I've got a little fatty, but don't at me. Why you mad? Cause she had me. Walking like a dog, I ain't talking about Sally, man. This bitch ain't seeing me. Never